Hello and welcome to this week's Top Bins Premier League preview for Game Week 7. We've got all of the action covered this weekend. There's some absolute crackers coming up. And we're going to have we're going to start off the show quickly with a little review of how we did last week with our preview.
Shocking!
Very, very bad. Let's start off with... Let's have a look at the results first and foremost, all right? There were some upsets in there. There was just some upsets in there, and it's too hard to call some of them. I could not see Burnley getting a 4-0 win at home to Bournemouth, Dave.
I could not see West Ham pulling off a draw against Chelsea.
Yeah. So, look, let's start with the positives. Both of us got 4 out of 10. Dave,
that's a positive?
50%. We might have to get these shirts remade because that's 40% this week. I got 40% as well. My saving grace is I picked 2 exact scores, which at least helps me in the head-to-head with Dave. So
let's have a look at the head-to-head. And you'll see, my 28 results so far to my 24, but more telling, 5 exact matches this season for you, only 2 for me. I know it's early days, but I'm putting some pressure on myself. I really need to come back into this if I don't start getting some more exacts or some better match results.
It's close though, Dave. One good week could turn this around for you. The exacts is going to be tough. If I can build a gap there, I think the exacts is going to be a tough one. But the picks and the results, I think... Four games is nothing over the course of a season.
You're right.
You can easily pull that one back. So I wouldn't be too downhearted about that.
Well, when I realised I'd only got 4 right this week, when I saw you'd only got 4 right, that was a relief because I thought you'd just stretched out a big. If you'd got another 7, I would have been in deep trouble. Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're talking preview, not review. We did that. You can go watch that.
Straight into it.
Next week's games. That's what we want. Game week 7, and there is some crackers coming up.
We're starting off with 2 managers who have been under big pressure at the start of the season. Early kick-off this weekend. West Ham against United. Who's going to win this one, Dave? This is a tough one to call, I tell you. This is one of those ones I'm really not sure about. It's a tough game to call.
I'm not sure anymore. I mean, I really thought Chelsea would turn up at the London Stadium and just do West Ham over. And while Chelsea weren't at their best, they weren't horrible. Fabianski may have kept them in the game, but West Ham weren't that bad.
Yeah.
United weren't that great last week. I mean, who do you go? I'm going to let you go first on this one, buddy.
It's a tough one, mate. I don't really want to call it first, but I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go with the team who I think have got more quality, and I still think West Ham stink of it. Not letting them off the hook after 2 games, decent games from them. I'm gonna go with United, and I'm gonna go 2-1.
Look, I like the 2. I don't like the 1, and that's only because of De Gea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on Arnautovic. I've heard that he might not play this week.
I reckon he'll want to be playing.
He'll certainly want to be playing. He might push
himself to play. Yeah.
Oh, nobody wants to see him in the stands again. He was not a happy camper.
Nah.
Look, I still think De Gea he's found his form again. He looked great last weekend. And if he hadn't looked great, Wolves would have taken the points.
That's right.
United 2-0.
2-0. All right, so we've both gone for a bit of Mourinho magic there for the first game.
See, we don't hate you, mate. We don't. You think we do, but we don't.
We love you, Jose. London derby, Arsenal-Watford. Another tough game to pick because I think Watford are in decent form, and I think Arsenal got, again, I say this a lot, but Arsenal going forward very good. At the back, I know they kept a clean sheet against Everton, but doesn't mean anything to me because Everton had a lot of chances and it could have been 2 or 3 goals that they conceded. So I can see there being goals in this one, but it's another very hard game to call. I'm gonna go in favour of the home team on this one. It plays a big factor for me in a lot of results.
It does.
And I'm going to go with Arsenal on this one just because they're playing at home and they've just come off the back of another win. Watford got the draw against Fulham and kind of had a great start to the season, but slowly starting to taper off a little bit, not looking as fluid. So I'm going to go with Arsenal on this one, and I'm going to go 2-1 again. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Petr Cech was great last week. We talked about that, and Lacazette just looks fantastic. Yep. But Gray looks great for Watford. Doucouré's still playing very well. Deeney's still Deeney. It's interesting. I'm going score draw on this. I think that if you give Watford the chances that you gave Everton last week.
Yep.
Regardless of how good Petr Cech was, the chances there were just so many. Gray's not going to miss those. He's not going to do what Richarlison, what Calvert-Lewin, and especially what some of the Everton play was just awful in front of goal. To be fair, but I don't think Gray will need that many chances. 2-2.
2-2. All right, big call from Dave. Score.
It's going to have to be big calls to catch up.
All right, over to Everton now. We're just talking about them. Everton against Fulham. Another good game. Two teams probably fairly evenly matched. It's going to be close, this one. I can see Everton are going to be reeling a bit from 2 defeats in a row. They haven't scored in a couple of games, though. They did score. They scored against West Ham. They got 1. Sigurdsson got 1. But they didn't score against Arsenal. 1 goal in 2 games. They're not looking fluid. Mitrovic is a threat. I can see this one being a draw. This one I'm going to go for a draw, and I'm going to go 2-2 on this one. I think that both teams have got the potential to open up and get some goals. Fulham play very nice football. I think Everton do have goals in them, even though they've not been that free-flowing in the last couple of games. So I'm going to go 2-2 in this one.
I'll go 2-1. Everton, they've got to start scoring goals, and I think they will. Yeah. I think they'll get an absolute hammering from Marco Silva over the finishing from the weekend. And I think they will play well at home, but I still think Mitrovic will score 1 because he always does. But I think you mentioned in the last show and in the review that Fulham look a bit naive at the back, and I think away from home, that'll tell. 2-1.
Cool. All right. Huddersfield Spurs, this one on paper looks like a no-brainer, even though Spurs haven't been great. Huddersfield have been awful. I can't see them stopping Spurs scoring. I can't see them scoring very many themselves. I think this one's cut and dry. I think it's a Spurs win. I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs.
I'll go 2-0 Spurs. All the same reasons. I just don't think Spurs are clicking enough to score 3. It'll be interesting if they prove me wrong. It's going to certainly make that top 4 race a bit more interesting. But they're just not quite clicking.
No.
But I can't see Huddersfield scoring. And certainly, I'm not sure. Lloris, I think, is back this week.
I think they're saying he's back. Yeah, they're saying he's back in training.
And that'll make a big difference. Yeah. And so, 2-0 Spurs.
2-0 Spurs, all right. I'm going to go to City now. City and Brighton. This could be... It's got a potential to have a little bit of an upset to it, but I ultimately think that City have probably got way too much for Brighton, and I think that Brighton will be plucky. They'll go there very organised. They'll set up 2 good banks of 4 in the back and in the middle. They will look to just sit off City, let them have the ball. They won't go there and press high. They'll try and get to half time at 0-0 and see what they can do in the second half. But I think City will probably cruise this one. I'm going to go for 3-0 on this one as well.
Brighton have just started games so poorly, and you go to City and you start poorly, you will be punished.
Yes.
And we saw the old ladies come out the other week, so, Glenn Murray might be a little distracted with a few ladies his age. But in all seriousness, Brighton they've just started poorly, and you can't do it against City. I can't see them getting to half-time without conceding 3.
Yep.
I'm going to go 4-0 City.
Big scores. We always go big scores with City. They've got goals in them, so get on that.
Scored 5 in a bloody torrential rain the other week.
I called that as well. 5 on the nose. All right, Newcastle Leicester. This is another one there's a lot of games this week. There's fairly evenly matched teams, or teams that will go into the games feeling they can get the result against each other. Although I think in this one, I think Leicester are probably going to have too much for Newcastle. Having said that, Newcastle at home, the crowd behind them can be a different beast. I think there's going to be some goals in this one. I'm going to go 3-2 to Leicester. Ooh. I think that Leicester have got lots of goals in them going forward. They showed that against Huddersfield on the weekend. I think Newcastle have to do something. They have to come out and play at some point and try and score. So I think they might come out and they might get a couple of goals. Rondon's going to be gagging to get his first goal for them. I'm going to go 3-2 Leicester.
I keep thinking Newcastle are going to do something. And 2 weeks in a row, I've put my neck out, said they're going to do something. Yeah. I can't back them a third week. They just keep disappointing me. Our boy Matty playing too well.
Well done, Matty. Salute to you, mate.
Vardy back in, looking better. Yeah. He loves the party in Newcastle. I guess I don't see I still think Dubrovka's good. I think he'll keep them in the game, but I'm thinking more along 3-1.
3-1 Leicester.
Yeah.
All right. Over to Molineux. Wolves, Southampton. Wolves looking very, very good this season so far, and I actually think Southampton have flattered to deceive a little bit. I think Mark Hughes is a rubbish manager, old school manager, hasn't kept up with the modern game well enough, very limited player pool and knowledge that he's got available to him. Probably biased because of the rubbish job he did at QPR when he was there, but I don't think he's a good enough manager for the Premier League. I think he will be one of the first to get sacked this season.
Always in that top of that list.
He is, and I think that Wolves are looking excellent. They'll be full of confidence after going to Old Trafford and getting a point, and probably should have got 3. I think they've got a cracking midfield combo with Neves and Moutinho. In Jimenez up top, looks like a really good link man, causes a lot of problems. They can bring Traore off the bench, and his pace and his power can really cause a lot of problems as well. I can't see beyond the Wolves win with this one. I'm going 2-0 to the Wolves.
I'm going to agree with you, and pretty much all the same reasons. I think the midfield is the key. I think Southampton's midfield awful against Liverpool.
Terrible.
And I'm interested to see. Danny Ings will come back, but I really want to see what Gabbiadini's like when he's back with Danny Ings. I think they could. You're still going to have problems in midfield, and that's not going to go away. But if they work off scraps and play all right together, I think they could be quite good together. But that's not going to be this week. You'll get Ings back, but not the other. 2-0 Wolves. I just can't see Southampton having anything at Molineux.
All right. Big game at the Bridge. This is what they're playing for. Games like this are what we live for. Chelsea against Liverpool, 2 of the top teams in the Premier League. 2 teams on very good form. Chelsea, they drew against West Ham, but look very good this season. Liverpool, top of the league, 6 wins out of 6.
Without having really hit their stride.
I tell you what, mate, this is going to be a cracker. It's going to be. I think there's going to be some nerves in this game going into it. Early doors, early season, big games like this. People don't want to give too much away, and they don't want to be the one to make the mistake. I think that Liverpool don't know any other way than go out and play. They've shown it against big teams before in the past, against City, PSG in the Champions League. Klopp only knows one way how to play,
That's right.
And he gets his players playing that way in every game. Doesn't matter who the opponents are. I think they'll go for the jugular in this one. I think it's really going to be a battle of defences. I think if the defence that comes out on top is going to see the team that defence plays for win. I think that defence is going to be Liverpool's. They've looked solid all season. I think they've got too much going forward, and Chelsea have looked susceptible to conceding chances throughout the season against all teams, including Cardiff
and West
Ham. And I think that doing that against a team with the likes of Salah and Mane and Firmino and all the good stuff that they've got there up top, Liverpool, I think that's gonna be the telling difference. I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool.
I hate to agree with you again, mate, but that's exactly what I was thinking. I think you're going to be hard pressed to keep Hazard out of it, and I think he'll either score it or do something wonderful that'll create that one.
Agreed.
But I just think giving Kante the freedom that you've given him is great.
Yeah.
And Jorginho back a little to cover him.
Does he really want it though, Kante? Does he really want that freedom, that attacking freedom? It's not what he was born to break up play. He was came out of the womb and he was intercepting passes.
That's right.
That's what he's made to do, mate.
That's right. And I think, look, and this is the game where that gets exposed for me, because you nailed it. Klopp doesn't know another way.
Nah.
Firmino is pressing out of his skin. I mean, if Kante came out breaking up play, Firmino came out pressing the doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just unbelievable at the moment. And they will just not give that midfield the time that they've had against every other team. And I don't think Chelsea can handle that. And I don't think Chelsea's defence is as good as Liverpool's defence.
Luiz is a liability at the back. I've always said it. I never thought he's a proper defender. I think he's a massive liability, and I think he'll be the source of a lot of joy for Liverpool. But I also think that Kante will actually be relinquished to that free role against Liverpool, and I think they'll drop Jorginho and Kante slap bang in front of the centre-backs and just tell them to just try and stop the red wave from descending.
The sideways passing of Jorginho, great stats. We've said it a number of times.
Yeah.
His passing stats are incredible, but that won't fly against the team that presses like Liverpool
That's
do.
right.
And 3-1 Liverpool. I think the League Cup fixture a couple of days prior is going to be very interesting, but it's not going to be that much of a taster because I think there'll be a lot of rotation. 3-1 Liverpool.
All right. It's a big game. I'm looking forward to it, I tell you. One game that's not quite as big, but big in terms of probably the relegation battle this season. Cardiff and Burnley. It looks like a shocking game on paper. I'm not very excited by it, but it's a very big game for whoever gets the 3 points in this one. It's going to mean a lot to them because they're both struggling for points this season. Burnley got their first win at the weekend, and Cardiff look kind of relegation material written all over them, don't they, at the moment?
Pack your bags.
At home against Burnley, maybe something. I mean, it's a tough one. I think Burnley, now that they've got that win under their belt, and they're not playing, or they haven't got the amount of games that they had at the start of the season because of the Europa League, will be fresher, will be hungrier. Sam Vokes started at the weekend, and he looked good.
He did.
To drop Woods onto the bench. I think that Burnley will probably have a bit too much, and I think Cardiff are probably going to lose to most teams they play against this season. I'm going to go Burnley 1-0.
Yeah, I think Burnley, while 4-0, great result. I think Bournemouth were just awful.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of the gloss on that game is really how bad Bournemouth were rather than how good Burnley were. I still think Burnley did enough last week to prove to themselves they can do it, and I think they'll go to Wales and quite comfortably win it. I'm picking them more for 2-0. Cardiff, they're going to struggle so badly this season.
Big time, mate. I think that's probably all we're going to say about that game because it doesn't look like a great one on paper. It'll probably be low scoring. Yeah. Bournemouth Palace, last game of the weekend. Bournemouth are going to be reeling from that 4-0. Surely they're going to come back firing. Eddie Howe, good manager. He won't stand for that performance against Burnley. They'll be working hard in training this week. Wilson, Fraser, King,
back home as well.
Back home. I think they've probably got a bit too much for Palace. But having said that, Palace are an experienced Premier League team, and you can't put it past them going to Bournemouth and getting a result. Bournemouth don't look the best at the back. I can see a score draw in this game. Although Palace haven't been that free scoring, I think that with Zaha you've always got a chance of getting some goals. I think he'll find space against the Bournemouth defence. I'm going to go 2-2.
Crystal Palace really annoyed me last week. I was actually annoyed watching the game because I just thought they were poor. Yeah. I also thought Bournemouth were really poor, and it's about who's going to get them back. And I just think at home, which is normally a Mike thing to say, but at home, it's your late game, last game of the weekend. Bournemouth have plenty of time to prepare for this. Eddie Howe will have them up for it. They were poor and they need to bounce back. Yeah. Palace is a great game for them to do that. I don't see Palace going away many places this season and taking points. Results, yeah. And for that reason, I'll go Bournemouth 2-0. 2-0
Bournemouth. All right. Well, look, that wraps up the preview for this week. If you fancy it, go get down the bookies, put a few bets on our picks.
We only got 4 right each last week.
So, but if you pick the 2 exacts that I got, ka-ching!
Yeah, temper that advice just a little. It's your money. Do what you want with it.
Yeah, look, but share all your good stories and your wins in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a like and a subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out our review of the previous game week. There was some great talking points in that one. And don't forget to join us next week for the review to check out what happens in these games. And we've also got a Facebook. It's facebook.com/TopPinsFantasy. Head over there, get involved in the banter, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.